I'm Justin, and this is Ohio Gozaimasu, THK Manufacturing of America's series on Japanese language and culture. Today, we're going to talk about the days of the week in Japanese, and this is an essential topic for anyone who wants to become fluent in Japanese, but is also very useful if you want to pick up a couple words or phrases because you work in a Japanese company, or you're planning to visit Japan, or if you're just curious. A few points before we begin. First, in Japan, the week is typically thought to begin on Monday and end on Sunday, so for this lesson we'll go in that order. Second, yobi is the word for day of the week, so every word in this list is going to end in yobi. Typically, the words do not include a space or a hyphen between the beginning part and the yobi, but for this lesson we'll include that at first because it makes it easier when you're reading them written in the Latin alphabet, and it's easier for you guys to practice. To practice the days of the week, please repeat after these native speakers. Let's go to the word war.
Getsuyobi,
月曜日、
Kayobi,
火曜日、
Suiyobi,
水曜日、
Mokuyobi,
木曜日、
Kinyobi,
金曜日、
Doyobi,
土曜日、
Nichiobi,
日曜日。
These can also be abbreviated by saying just the beginning part.
月、火、水、木、金、土、日。
月、火、水、木、金、土、日。
There are some other interesting and useful topics that are related to the days of the week. The first thing that we're going to look at is what the days of the week mean. Getsuyobi is moon day. Kayobi is fire day. Suiyobi is water day. Mokuyobi is wood day or tree day. Kinyobi is metal day or gold day. Doyobi is earth day. And Nichiobi is Sunday. Other than the sun and the moon, we have fire, water, wood, metal, and earth. These are the 5 classical Chinese elements, and they're used in a lot of parts of East Asian culture, such as medicine, martial arts, and natural sciences. Kanji is the word for Chinese written characters as they are used in Japanese. Japanese uses around 2,000 traditional Chinese characters for everyday writing. The beauty and complexity of these characters is one of the most fascinating and intimidating parts of East Asian languages. It can take decades to learn all of the characters used in Japanese, but the characters used for the days of the week are relatively simple, extremely useful, and they represent a great place to start learning kanji. Moon, fire, water, wood, metal, earth, and sun. These are basic concrete concepts, and they're found in a lot of words related to culture, but let's take a look at the characters used to write them one by one. First, here are a few things to know about kanji. The same kanji might look slightly different depending on the font. There are traditional brush styles, typeface fonts, and handwritten styles. We'll show a few samples of each on the screen. In Japanese, each kanji usually has at least 2 readings. One based on the Japanese word for what the character represents, and one based on the original Chinese word. This is a lot like water, aqua, and hydro in English. Even though aqua is borrowed from Latin and hydro is borrowed from Greek, we know that they both mean water. In the case of the days of the week, the readings are mostly the Chinese-based sounds. Each kanji character has a specific stroke order in which you're supposed to write it. The main goal of this lesson today is to learn to recognize the characters, not to write them. So we're not going to take a lot of time to talk about that. And also, my handwriting really isn't that good. However, there are a lot of good resources available out there if you search on the internet for moon kanji stroke order. Let us know in the comments, though, if that's something you'd like us to talk more about in a future video. So here are the 7 kanji that represent the days of the week. First is Monday, Getsuyobi. The character that we read getsu in this word is also commonly read gatsu and tsuki. It means moon and is based on a modified picture of a crescent moon. It can also mean month because a month is about equal to 1 cycle of a moon. In fact, the words for the months in Japanese are just numbers followed by this character. We'll talk more about this in a later video when we cover numbers. Tuesday, Kayobi. The character that we read ka here is also sometimes read hi. It means fire and is also a stylized picture of a fire. This kanji can be made narrower and used as a component in other words that have something to do with fire. Examples that you might see here at TMA are ro, the word for furnace, and yakiire, the word for quenching when you heat treat metal. Next is Wednesday, Suiyobi. Sui is the Chinese-based pronunciation. The Japanese word for water is mizu, which is also a reading of this character, and is particularly common in Japanese surnames. This character represents a point where a river narrows. In our factory, this character might be found in parts of machines that allow water to flow, and in water-based lubricants and inks. This character can also be found in words that in English contain the term hydro, such as in the element hydrogen. Next is Thursday, Mokuyobi. The common readings of this character are moku, boku, and ki. This character represents a tree with branches spreading out to the left and to the right. It's also important to note that this word can refer to both living trees and the building material wood, so you might see it on wooden crates or other wooden tools. It's also commonly combined with other components to make more complicated kanji characters. Some simple examples are hayashi, which means woods, and mori, which means forest. The names of specific species of tree often include this character on the left side. For example, sugi is the word for cedar trees and is written like this. In turn, tree names are also common Japanese surnames. Here are some examples.
こんにちは。私の名前は林浩二です。
こんにちは。私の名前は杉本俊之です。
Next is Friday, Kinyobi. This character means metal, specifically gold, and money. If it's pronounced kin, the nuance of gold is stronger. It can also be pronounced kane when it refers to money, or kana inside of compounds and names like Kanazawa.
こんにちは。私の名前は金沢隆弘です。
This character was also traditionally used in Korea to write the surname Kim.
안녕하십니까. 나의 이름은 김만수입니다.
So, how exactly you're supposed to read this character can be tricky to figure out at first. A narrow version of this character can also be found on the left side of words for different kinds of metal, like iron, copper, and silver. Next is Saturday, Doyobi. This character refers to the earth, ground, or soil, and its other reading is tsuchi. It is a common component of many other kanji, but be careful. Of the 2 horizontal lines, the upper line is shorter. If the upper line is longer, it's a completely different character, meaning a respected person or a scholar, a samurai, or something along those lines. Last is Sunday, Nichiobi. This character is a stylized picture of the sun and originally was a circle with a dot in the middle. This character has many possible readings, including Nichi, Jitsu, Hi, Bi, and Ka. You may have realized that the Bi in Yobi uses the same character. That's because, in addition to meaning sun, the character also represents the concept of a day. From the perspective of people on the earth, one day is measured by the cycle of the sun rising and setting. This means that the word Nichiobi has the same kanji used twice with two different readings and slightly different nuances. There are two other interesting things about this character that I want to talk to you about. First is that the name for Japan in Japanese, Nihon, is written with this character. That's why Japan is called the land of the rising sun. Second, this character can be used to indicate the day when you give a date. It comes after the number, just like the month kanji. So 2 month, 5 day is February 5th. How about this one? That's May 9th, which is my birthday, by the way. We'll do a video dedicated to numbers and dates in the future. Do you notice anything else interesting here? Getsuyobi, Monday, literally means moon day, and that sounds a lot like Monday. Nichiobi, which is Sunday, literally means Sunday. Coincidence? No. In fact, all of the days of the week actually match up like this. I could tell you how, but why don't you look it up and tell us in the comments below. Thank you for watching this episode of Ohio Gozaimasu. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have questions, comments, or suggestions for other video topics, things that you'd like to learn about, please let us know in the comments. And we'll see you next time.